Hi from the
English Sisters.
Welcome to Get Real with the English Sisters.
Hi there, everyone.
Welcome.
We're going to be talking about, what is it today?
Reframing your thoughts and how you
Yeah.
can keep, how your mind can be like a prison
Yeah, are you keeping yourself imprisoned
by your thoughts.
by your thoughts? Yes.
I know.
Pretty
pretty
scary, isn't
scary.
it? Yeah. That's what we always think. It's pretty scary.
It's really
You could
scary.
really be keeping your mind behind bars, as to
But,
say.
I mean, what do you mean by imprisoned?
Well, what I mean is that the story that you're telling yourself is keeping you in a little dark hole, in a little prison cell. And you keep on repeating that same story to yourself day over day,
Every day.
night by night. It's the
Every
same
night.
story. So no matter what your story is, you're repeating it to yourself.
And you can't see the sunshine.
Yeah, you can't get out of your own prison cell. I mean, it sounds really dramatic.
I mean, it is dramatic because when you are in prison, most of the time, unless you're in solitary confinement, you get out, I think. At least you go in the yard for exercise.
Yeah, but in this case, when your mind is imprisoned, you
There's
even
no
if
respite, is
there's
there?
no respite. Even if you do go in the yard, you just can't see anything. Only your own story. You can't see the daffodils and you can't see the trees.
I don't think they have daffodils in prison.
Well, that's what I mean. The metaphor is in your own mind.
I mean, I hope
Your-
they do. Maybe they do in some modern prisons.
In your mind, you can't see the daffodils either because there's no time for them because you're telling yourself the same story over and over again. I mean, the kind of idea is, how do you get out of that prison?
I know, because it's easy to say your mind's in prison, but I mean, if you are in prison, it means you're locked up, and someone has to let you out, don't they? Usually.
Or you have to find the keys. And we all know where the keys are.
Where?
In your own mind. You have access to the
No, but
keys if you know.
Sometimes the keys can be education, can't they?
Well, exactly.
Educating yourself on how to get out of that place.
Yeah, and that is
What
the
is
key.
The key.
That is the key.
I mean, do you remember when we first learnt about reframing, which is called psychological...
Flexibility.
Yeah, in psychology,
Yeah.
where you can reframe your thoughts. I mean, it was pretty. It was
I had
pretty
no
amazing.
idea what they were
It was
talking
a
about
bit of a
before.
light bulb moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't understand it really. Reframing. I thought it was like literally like a frame over a painting. But then I thought, yeah, that kind of makes sense. You know, changing the frame.
Changing the frame of the paint.
Well, I thought it was like the painting. Like if you change a frame, the painting will look different.
Yeah.
So in a kind of a way, it's the same thing. If you change the frame in which you're looking through something, you're going to see a different picture. You will see, literally, you'll see a different
if you've got a
life.
black frame and then you change it to, say, like a pink one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or
Things
you
will look.
put a more valuable frame on, like a gold frame.
Yeah.
Or
The
silver.
whole painting or picture will give it certain value to it, won't it?
It'll look different.
It will look very different. That's the whole thing, isn't it? But how do you get from not even realizing that your mind is imprisoned to actually accessing the key?
Well, I think if someone tells you, like if you're listening to us, obviously
Yeah.
you're hearing this if you didn't already know about it. But I think when we first heard it, it was a big revelation to us.
Yeah.
But what you have to go. I think you have to go backwards on this one. What imprisons you in the first place? How do you get into prison? Because when you're really young, usually you're not in prison, are you? You're like
No.
awakened. You're not thinking about thoughts that are gonna
imprison you.
But as soon as you get like quite young, like 4 or 5 onwards, you can start having these like kind of recurring thoughts that can trouble you, can't you? Like, for instance, you used to think, I haven't done my maths homework, for instance, something silly like that, and that used to really trouble
that used
you.
to torture me.
Yeah.
I hate it.
And you were tiny. I mean, you must have been about 6 then.
Yeah, that was a big trauma for me, this math stuff.
Yeah.
It used to dominate my entire childhood. School life. I was so terrified.
So that was already like putting you in a prison, but that was like real because you were worried about it.
I was
But
terrified.
what could you have done at that tiny age? I suppose you could have spoken to Mum about it. She would have helped you.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because the
yeah.
teacher was really bossy, wasn't she?
The teacher
She was
would,
horrible.
She was awful. She would just hit me. If you can see me out there, teacher, I don't know, you must be really elderly
was her
by now.
name?
Or should I say the name?
I think you can, because there's loads of
Oh
them.
no,
Like,
I
yes,
feel.
Mrs. Curtin.
Yeah, not kidding. She was Miss Courtney. Miss Courtney, and yeah, I'm sorry to say that you did cause a lot of trauma in my life.
I
Because
don't think she'll still be alive by now.
well, I don't know,
She'll be
but
like 150.
I was
or
only
something.
5, yeah. But the thing is, I think in that, you know, dyslexia and that wasn't even understood much. So the
You had,
fact
like,
that she was,
dyspraxia or
yeah, she was
something.
putting numbers up on the blackboard, I just couldn't even understand. I mean, I could understand very simple things, but then afterwards the numbers would just be jumbled up in my mind. It was so awful, really. They would be moving around on the blackboard, these numbers, and I had no idea why other people could see them clearly. Yeah, it was so creepy. I just remember we had these round circle tables, and I would just literally hide under them, and then she would always shout my name out, say, "Come back up from the table." Then I'd just be sent out to the cloakroom. So in the end, I would never learn anything anyway. It was really traumatic.
Yeah, so I think
There.
there would have been like to tell Mum about it.
I guess so.
If you've
I
got a
don't
nice
know.
mum.
I suppose I thought I was naughty, so I wouldn't tell anyone.
Yeah, that's where there's more education.
Yeah.
The children are more considered now, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I just thought I was being naughty by hiding under the table or running away or whatever.
Anyway, now it's adults. So let's go back to adults.
Well, yes.
Adults, we imprison our thoughts. If we can look at things in a different way, if we can reframe, we do a lot of reframing in our lives. Don't
I
we?
think our lives are just one big giant reframe. So what do we mean by that? Well, for example, you've got to go to the dentist. You say, oh, well, we've got to go to the dentist. Yuck. First thought is yuck.
Aren't we lucky there's a dentist?
Aren't we lucky we've got a dentist? Aren't we lucky we're able to
Pay
financially pay for the dentist? Aren't we lucky we're going to get our teeth fixed? And that's a classical reframe, isn't it? Just really simple, basic
So
reframe.
to go to gratitude.
You go to gratitude, yeah, wherever you are. But you can also reframe, for example, you're driving in the traffic and somebody's going really slowly and you think, oh, what an idiot. Look, he's going so slowly. You could reframe that story and think, I wonder what's happened to
did
him
that
or
the other
her
day.
today. Yeah. Maybe they're in a bit of a tiff. Maybe they've had some news.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe.
Is that reframing though? Or is that looking at from a different perspective? It's the same.
It's the same thing, really. You're being flexible on a psychological level, so you're not fixated in one thought, which is the thought of what an idiot. Look
Or
at
just
them.
thinking about yourself.
Well, yeah, your mind is able to overcome your own agenda and begin to think about somebody else and think, I wonder what's going on there. Even if you already put that question mark, I think that's so important, isn't it? If you've got a little question mark, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Like you encounter, you go to the bank, you queue up, and then you meet the bank lady or man, and instead of thinking, oh God, they're so slow, they're pathetic, you know, or you can just suddenly,
Is that what you think?
no, because I always think of them.
Yeah.
But I see so many people go furious.
They moan, don't they?
Moan and I mean, I might be, of course, I'm human. I get annoyed. Like the other day at the post office, I had to send back this Hoover that broke. Like, broke so fast, didn't it? Anyway, I'm not...
You don't want to mention names.
No, okay. Yeah, I don't want to mention it. I've already mentioned it. Anyway, yeah, I had to go there and I was queuing up and I was thinking...
But they said they would fix it for you. So
yeah, they're going to fix
very
it, so
nice.
that's good, yeah. I just had to send it back. It was great. Just had to send it back. I was queuing up and there were so many people moaning and groaning. But then if you actually looked at the people behind, behind the screens at the work they were doing...
It was
You
hard.
can, well, I don't know if it was hard, but you can empathise. You can certainly empathise, can't you?
Well, they have to deal with people that aren't very happy all day.
Yeah, all
They're
day
not
long.
looking at smiley people, are they?
No. So how can...
So I think you can change the way you look at things by being different as well. Like if you're all smiley and you go up all smiley and happy, they're going to be smiley back, aren't they?
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah, usually. Oh, definitely. Yeah. They can tell the smile, even if they can't see it.
They can feel it from the inside.
They
can't
can feel.
Even with masks on and everything, they can still see. I think they can tell in the tone of voice as well
Yeah, definitely.
that you're not irate.
No, they can definitely tell. And I think, this has just been, I don't know whether it's something, I think it's just dramatically improved my life, this reframing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like when I don't want to go to the supermarket, aren't I lucky I can go to the supermarket? Aren't I lucky I can...
Really, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's all about gratitude then,
I
really.
think it's about gratitude.
So it's just having a gratitude. Is that what
Attitude of
reframing
gratitude.
is?
Well, I think the way we do it, I think it is. What else? Like, even if we've got a health issue, like with my eye, with my retina, aren't I lucky that I've got lovely doctors. I can see
Yeah.
doctors in other country. I might have gone blind by now, aren't
Goodness
I
me,
fortunate?
Yeah.
And then I'm always really grateful. And then the actual thing that happens to you doesn't seem so bad anymore. It just seems to be that you've got all these people around you that are, that you've
Caring.
that caring, and that also you've got the possibility, I suppose. I think that's probably how some people that live in less fortunate countries think. Which
That's
helps
why they're
them,
always. That's why they
smiling
say
and
they're
happy
so
and
happy.
dancing and
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause,
It's a bit like what they say about what's that? What they say? Third world? No, first world.
Grunchy.
First world problems. Like my cappuccino's cold or something.
Oh yeah. I know what you mean.
It's a little
Yeah.
phrase.
Yeah.
It's a little saying if you know what it is. I've forgotten what it is now.
Yeah. So do you
I think we take so much for granted. I think that's the thing, that we take so much. Like when the internet's slow, some people in my household start shouting.
Not to mention names. Yes, they do. Yeah, there's a lot
No,
of
actually,
shouting.
they're quite good.
Yeah, but it's really annoying.
But it can
isn't
happen.
It? Yeah, it can happen.
And or if it goes down or something, and then my goodness, we've got internet. Wow, we're so fortunate we can access it. We have, and then it just all seems, and everything just.
So really, by reframing,
just seems okay. The prison walls open up, I think.
Is that the key then, you think?
I think so. I think even if you've had something really terrible's happened, like when we worked with that lady that was abused, just thinking that you got out of that situation alive. I mean, and thinking, oh my goodness, I'm so lucky I'm alive. And
so it's very simple. That's it. That's all you have to do. That's the key.
I think that could be the key. Yes, the other day I was listening to a podcast where this lady that was paralyzed at 18, I can't remember her name now because I missed that part for some reason. I was thinking about something else. But she said that she said she wouldn't change anything because being disabled, she's disabled from the chest down. She said that's really taught her how to appreciate life in every single way with all its nuances and everything. And she said she was actually, she was on her tummy for 3 years because she had an abscess on her bottom, and she had to be lying on her stomach for 3 years, and yet she still says she managed to find peace in that and find art.
Goodness,
she would draw, and she said that it was liberating. She said even though it was really awful, but the fact that I used to think I can draw, I can do these amazing drawings, this amazing art that's coming out of me now.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. And she said she wouldn't change anything. So I think that's the attitude of gratitude, because I mean, there she literally was in prison physically.
Yeah.
For so long. And then she had the attitude of gratitude. I'm so fortunate, my parents are so loving. I've got these carers that care for me.
Goodness me.
But I mean, I think going back to the other podcast we did on resilience, I think we are, as humans, are so resilient, and that we can cope with things that we would, if you think about it like now in cold blood, you think I could never do that. You know,
No, you think
that's
you
the
can't
most
do
terrible thing that could ever happen to me.
Terrible, yeah, terrible.
And yet you can find grace in that. She found this new kind of spirituality in it, she said.
Goodness me. That is amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, from an imprisoned mind and imprisoned body, but her mind was free.
Her mind was free.
So
yeah.
her body was imprisoned, but having a free mind, that makes
so
all the difference.
She said her mind would wander to beautiful places.
Your mind can go anywhere. Your mind can go anywhere. If you really, you can be free. Even if you are in a physical prison, you can be free in your mind if you know how to free it up. And you have access to that key.
Yeah, but I think it doesn't mean that you can't like improve your life. Like if you have an area in your life that you think I'm not quite happy here, like in your career or something, I don't think that means that you just have to be grateful that you've got a job and it's wonderful.
Oh no, there's always room. You can open up another room in your life and literally open up many. Have one key to have an empowered mind, then another key to improve, another key.
But I think maybe you can have the key to say, oh, I'm still grateful I've got this job and it's serving me well for now.
Yes.
But I want to improve and I want to I want to take a different.
Oh yeah, I don't think that means that you just have to stay static and say I'm going to stay here.
It doesn't just mean that you have to live in gratitude every single day and think I'm happy here.
No, it means that you can live in gratitude and
dream.
Want to better yourself, but you're still in gratitude in the now. So you can still be thankful for the job no matter how humble it is.
Yes.
But you can still have future plans and dreams for the future, for a better, for improvement. So you can still always live in
and
gratitude.
I think if you do the work you're doing with an attitude of gratitude, an attitude of love and kindness inside you, then that will be so much more rewarding than if you're doing it from a place of fear and anger.
Obviously, but can you get there? And how can they get there? How can people listening get there?
That's a $60 million question, isn't it?
Haven't heard that $64
million question. That's from when we were little.
Really?
These podcasts take us back a bit, don't they?
No, I know it's a big question, but I mean, okay. So
I think you can get there by journaling.
Journaling? Oh, that's an interesting.
Because this was another podcast I was listening to with Tom Billieu this morning.
I love
podcasting. Yeah, I was listening on the way here. And also, I didn't get the name.
Well done.
But
doesn't matter. You got the idea and the concept.
The idea and the concept.
Yeah, you learned something.
Yeah, I did learn something, and I love Tom Billieu's podcast, so it was great. And I haven't finished it yet, so when I go back, I'll go and finish it on the way home. But he was saying, this psychologist that was there was saying that for him, it's journaling.
Journaling. Yeah. So he writes
and
things down.
And so write down his feelings and then how he processes his day, and then the goals that he's looking forward to doing. So, and he says that gives him clarity of mind.
Do you remember when we were little, we used to write a diary? Every day. Goodness me.
And maybe that did help us.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, I thought you just write really boring things. I had breakfast and went skipping.
Is that what you would write?
Mine was really boring.
Mine was boring.
But I'm happy. I'd always write, I'm happy. I'm so lucky.
So sweet.
I'm so lucky to have lovely parents.
You would write
Mum and Dad, yeah.
Oh.
Didn't you?
I think I would write things more like what happened at school and... or like if we went to pick the cherries and things like that, I would write. I remember. Or today
I didn't always write about
blackberry picking.
Dad, I mean, I think maybe that was when I was older. I used to be more
so
gratitude.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really lucky. I was really in love, and I was really happy. It's been a nice day.
Yeah.
And then if something nasty would happen, in something difficult or challenging, I'd write, this has been hard today, but tomorrow will be better.
Goodness me, gosh. You were a wise one.
And then I don't, because I always used to think someone might read them in the future.
So you would they would be slightly, you cheeky one. They would be censored then.
Definitely,
definitely
censored.
censored.
They could never be.
You could never
They could
open up your
never
real.
Gosh,
Gosh.
you're joking. Anyone could get hold of them.
But what did you have?
What? And when you're
I've got my diaries up there in my bedroom
I'm still scared that people might read them, even though they're
People.
censored.
Well, yeah, you kind of censor them a
No,
little
I
bit,
think
don't
because
you?
Mum had a diary, so
had all her
I used to think it when
If I
when
read her
she's
diary
gone,
now,
and I never
yeah.
did read it when she was here. But I go, when she's gone, I think if we read those diaries now, I mean, what would we find? I think she censored them as well.
She probably did, yeah. Just really nice things she wrote about. Yeah.
She didn't write any of the real stuff.
Well, I think the whole point of journaling is to
This
write
is
the real
supposed
stuff.
to get real.
Yeah, you are supposed to write the real stuff, unless you're writing
I
your
don't
diary
know, but
through.
if you're writing your diary like what I used to do through rose-colored lenses, really, in the
Yes.
end, because in the end I was
Could
so
that
happy
help
it's
you
okay.
as well?
I think it does help you.
I think it does help you, yeah, because if you write, you're actually physically writing down it's all okay and I'm happy.
Yeah, that's
so
what-
that's going to affect you mentally,
I
isn't
think
it?
that did affect
In the end of the night, and the diary was the last thing we would do in the evening, right before saying, okay, go to bed.
I'm just thinking no one could read my diaries because they were so scruffy to write.
Yours were like doctor's writing. It's terrible. Yeah, then you're worried
I
about...
try and read them now. I can hardly understand a word.
But maybe that is the secret, to write a journal, but write the rose-coloured version of
Well,
it.
write the version you would. That isn't that a bit.
Not really.
No, because I used to write the hard things that happened. Like if we'd had some health, usually the only hard thing that happened is we were very lucky. It's like if you'd had a health scare or something. But
for me, it was just always I got into trouble at school and
No,
this
but-
and this and things like that.
when
I
was
would
li-
write-
Are you talking about when you were really young now?
No,
I'm
like
talking
13,
about when I'm
14,
older now.
Oh, older. Oh.
I've gone into my 20s and
Ah, you're in your 20s. Okay, yeah. No,
30s.
yeah, then it was more. You're right, yeah. Usually it was fine. Can't remember what I used to write.
played in the garden
Played in the garden.
with the babies.
Yeah, things like that. Played in the garden with the babies. With the little ones, yeah, I guess so.
Went to Violetta's house, had tea.
Oh, me? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, things like that, yeah. No, I would fight about fights, though. I've
Fights.
got a few fights
I
written
had a
down
fight.
there. It's funny because I had a fight that I had with my husband and I wrote it down, and then when I read it like 20 years
You got
later,
angry again.
I got furious again. I go,
joking.
talk about accessing, memories and how they can affect you in today. So, I mean, this is all quite relevant, really, because if you're thinking of a story that happened to you in the past and you're telling yourself that story over and over again, that's gonna
But the
that's gonna
story,
affect.
do you know that the story is not even the real story anymore? Because it's a perspective from how you're seeing it today and from what you can actually remember. So it's not even what really happened.
It's false, isn't it?
It's completely false.
Not
It's
completely.
practically. You don't have to get angry again.
No, but it's not completely false. There
No,
are some
but
truths, but it's
there's-
distorted version of it.
Look, I think practically everything is false. Because if you think about it, this whole world is like every single person sees the world in a different way.
I know.
Depending on how they've been brought up, who their
affects
friends
them,
are,
yeah.
what affects them. It's just so.
I mean, look,
It's so volatile. I mean, it's so like
It's
non-scientific.
non-real.
Yeah, it's so non-real.
so ethereal. It's
Yes.
ridiculous, really, isn't it? It's like when me and my husband, we went on this gorgeous trip. Well,
Yeah.
this is my version. We went to the Caribbean and we went on this gorgeous island, and there were birds, beautiful birds flying around, and the sea was clear, and it was an amazing experience for me. And I thought my husband had lived the same experience. It was hilarious. Then at a dinner party, he was telling our friends about this experience, and he said, "Oh my God, you should have seen how scared I was. This little fisherman boat left us on this deserted island, and there were these big birds that looked like they were going to bite us and eat us. And I was worried because it was hot and we had not enough water, and I was terrified the fisherman boat wouldn't come and pick us up." And this was his version of that day on this deserted island. And I got such a fright. I go, gosh, I thought you were really having fun. He goes, of course I wasn't having fun. I was terrified. Didn't you see me trying to provide shade for you? It was hilarious. And he said, and those big birds, they weren't normal. Come on, they were massive. They would look like they were going to come and attack us. And I
It
thought,
can be dangerous.
yeah, I thought they were absolutely amazing, these giant tropical birds. But he thought they were going to come because there was quite a lot of them. If I actually see his point of view,
you can see.
I can see how, it was all very random. The little fisherman boat, okay, bye, see you later.
Yeah, I mean, what if he hadn't come to pick you
he
up?
dropped us off with a bottle of water and he left us in the middle of the Los Roques Islands, and that was it. That's kind of what you used to do in those days.
Maybe you still do now.
Well, I bet you do. It's like a touristy thing. He drops you off and then he comes back. But I in my mind, I was convinced, of course, he would come back. And I saw the whole rose-tinted version of it. But we were living the exact identical experience, but just
From different perspectives.
from different perspectives. So my perspective was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Yeah, I thought, oh wow, we can swim naked if we want to. There's nobody here. This is so romantic. It was like, oh my God, isn't this what everyone dreams about? I do remember seeing him rather flustered though, and I was thinking, I don't think he's fully experiencing it. But in the end, I was in my own world, and I can still remember everything. Soft white sand and that sea that was so gorgeous and the gentle breeze. I saw everything so different to the way he saw it. It was amazing, really. And then to hear that version of it, it was like a slap on the face. I thought, where have we been on 2 different holidays?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, and this is how you can live life. You can live your entire life like this. 2 different versions of the same identical life.
So you can switch it up as well, can't you?
Switch it up.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Again, what are you saying? You can switch it up.
I'm saying that if you, excuse me, if you're living that experience,
Yeah.
you can change it. When you can catch yourself realizing that you're living this experience in a rather negative way, maybe, and then reframe it quickly.
If you know what
Like what we
reframing,
do,
if
like
you're
what we
aware
do.
of it, yes. So it's once again, it's all about being aware. Because if you're not aware, you have no idea what your mind is doing. You don't even know you don't know anything. You just live. You are not aware of it. But if you're aware of it, then you can change it. Definitely. So let's be aware.
Let's be aware.
Let's be aware, and let's get out of that prison that we put ourselves into.
And do we have to open the door every day, I think? I think it's a bit like a practice, don't you?
I think it is a practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit like a mindfulness practice, isn't it? It's something that you have to become aware of and then do every day.
Definitely. It's like having a shower. You have to brush your teeth.
It is,
Definitely.
isn't it? I think this is the myth about changing your mind, because we haven't grown up with this from when we're really little. We haven't been taught. Most people haven't.
No,
anyway.
not in schools. Anyway.
No, you haven't been taught that you can see life through, different lenses, through different perspectives.
No. They do say, oh, there she is. She sees life through rose-coloured lenses.
But they don't explain how to do it.
Why is she seeing life?
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, the question is, if
Isn't
that
that
person...
unfair?
But they kind of seem to think, no, that she's like an unrealistic person. Or he's...
dreamer.
A dreamer, yeah.
A Pisces.
A Pisces, yeah. I'm a Pisces. Yeah, like an unrealistic person. No. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're just living their version of reality. And each one has our version of reality. So if we could choose it, why not? Why not choose it?
Why not choose it?
Why not choose it? Why choose to
It would
live?
be foolish to, wouldn't it?
It would be foolish to live a miserable
But I
life
mean,
if you could see things in a different way. I mean,
It's a bit like a spoiled kind of life. Like if you went into a bakery and there was a cake that was spoiled, like it was off, you wouldn't choose that one, would you?
you choose a lovely cake that looks... We're always talking about cakes, aren't we? You've got cakes cakes on the mind. Yeah, you would choose to eat the lovely fresh cake instead of eating the stale cake. That's for
Yes.
sure.
So why have these stale thoughts? We don't have to. You can make fresh thoughts.
You can make fresh thoughts, exactly.
You can bake fresh thoughts every day.
And you can open your mind in a
different
very,
perspectives.
Yeah.
And to seeing things
in a different way.
Yeah, and I think also now with all this polarization, like in social media, it's like it's all black or white. Instead of just being open-minded and thinking, the people that are thinking like that, they're seeing things through their point of view, through their own lens. The others are seeing it through theirs. It doesn't mean that one's right or one's wrong. Sometimes you may think they are or they're not, but they're coming from a
different point, a different frame.
Yeah, a different frame, and they're looking at the picture in a different way. And sometimes, if people would be more open-minded to this, maybe people could come together more and avoid all this conflict.
Absolutely.
No?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you.
Because people just they judge quickly as well. You judge your own thoughts quickly, and you judge other people's thoughts quickly in general. It's a very kind of judgy world we live in.
Yeah, I remember there used to be this TV program. I mean, it has something to do with what we're saying because excuse me.
To do.
Yeah, no, it does. It's because I remember it's like about changing couples or something, and it was like
Switcheroos.
Is that what it was called? Switcheroos. No, I think that's something else. It was like, okay, so there was a husband and a wife, and the wife would go and live with another family, for example.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it was this...
Cambio moglie, wasn't it?
Cambio moglie, that's it. That means I
Isn't it cambio marito?
No,
I changed my wife.
It was,
and I changed my husband.
It was changed my wife, changed my husband for
partner.
7 days, basically. So the wife or the husband would go into these different environments, and the other family would see them in a totally different way from...
Yeah, like so in one family where one of them was really tidy or something, the other one would say, "Oh, it's so lovely that she's so tidy."
Yes, exactly. Yeah, or I love the way she
really cares about us because she tidies up around us all the time.
It wasn't just about tidying
that's
up.
one I remember.
Yeah, it was something like that.
But that's what I remember. But it could be completely
very
false.
Old thing, but it was like. It kind of made you realise how you can see someone in a very different light.
Sometimes I think that about my husband.
Do you?
No, sometimes I think that with our partners we tend to be very like take it for granted that they're a bit like us. But then sometimes I think, well, if I could see him like from a different light, you know, I probably would admire this and that and the other.
Yeah. What would I think about him?
I think that's what you kind of have to do in relationships, because otherwise I think you just take
everything for granted.
You take everything for granted. You're not really grateful for all the little things they do.
And then how can a partner stay the same to what you know? They can't. We're so constantly evolving, aren't we? So it's like they cannot be the person that you met when you were, 10, 15.
Can't be, because you're not that.
Exactly. So why do you expect them to be as well?
But do you expect them to be?
I think people do. I think that like we've seen in therapy, there are many of the complaints we have from both partners is that, oh, she used to be like this and he used to do that and she used to be like that, and it's no longer like that anymore.
They were like this and that.
Yeah.
I just think it's easy to reframe your life in a more positive light if you know what reframing is.
So now you know.
I think that we do it all the time, and I think it's very helpful to do it.
Extremely helpful.
It really does change your mood immediately.
Really fast.
Yeah, like
it's like
even
instant.
like if you don't want to go and pick someone up at the airport because you're tired or whatever, but think how lovely is that I can go to the airport.
Yeah, have you got to pick someone up at the airport?
No, I just thought of that though.
Yeah.
Because, in the end, I mean, life is about experiencing things every day. And I think if you experience things nicely and with patience and gratitude
Grace,
and well-being,
yeah.
then everything can become quite amazing and enjoyable.
It can be such a different, it can be like on the desert island, you can live an amazing experience out of your own life, out of everyday things.
Even just
Every
like
trivial,
even like really boring things. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know,
boring.
boring appointments. You might. I mean, you don't know in life what's going to happen. You might have to go and pay a fine or something, a bill or a something. You might meet the love of your life there in that place, or you might.
You never know.
You might meet someone that could save your life, or you could.
Yes.
You don't know. You don't know what life is going to bring. So. If you think everything, no matter what, everything will take you on a journey that's going to make your life better and more improved, and you're going to learn from everything, then in the end, everything becomes like a learning experience, and it can be very, very pleasurable.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it?
I think
it's
so.
It's how you see life becomes your
Becomes
own
the
prophecy, becomes what it really is to
What
you.
is mirrored back to you.
What is mirrored back? Because if you see things in that light, that means you're living in that light.
It means you are the light.
You are the light.
And we are all the light.
And if you are the light, then you can light
can
up other
shine.
people's lives, like the candle. You can literally be the light, and with your light, you'll turn on other people's light inside.
So light up your lives.
Light up your lives and
Through
reframe.
reframing.
And let us know what you reframe today. If you reframe something, or if
Yeah,
you find it difficult, or
try it.
Try it. Yeah, try it. Try it for 1 week.
Try it for 1 week and see how
It
changes
life.
your life.
Yes, and let us know.
And try journaling as well.
Yeah. What, through a tinted lens or?
Both, whatever you feel comfortable with.
I think a
they're both
tinted
good.
lens could definitely help you if
I
you
think
do
maybe
it.
you could do it through the untinted lens first and then through the tinted lens.
Yes.
That's like the natural reframe.
One
isn't
page
it?
of saying, oh, this was yucky, and this happened and this happened. And
Monday morning.
Yeah,
boss
I
angry,
failed my test, or I did this and I did this. And then the next one, which, you failed your test, but I was lucky to be able to take the test, or I did
lucky to be
this.
able to retake
Yes,
it.
and I can retake it, or this and that. So yes, the two-hand version of it we want to see. One and the other one will be wonderful.
Well, thank you for
listening.
And if you're watching on YouTube, bye-bye.
Bye.
And what else? Oh, please remember to download to help us grow and to put this in your library, Get Real with the English Sisters, and also to rate our podcast, because we'd be very, very grateful.
Very grateful indeed.
See you soon. Lots of love and smiles from the
English
Sisters.
Sisters. Bye.